A little girl is trapped on a speeding train. Outside, the entire country is collapsing. Inside, the passengers don't even know they're already surrounded. And in just a few hours, this train will become a moving coffin. But the scariest part isn't the zombies. It's what people become when survival is all that matters. This trip gets much worse. Before the outbreak begins, we meet Seok Woo, a successful fund manager living in Seoul. He's smart, rich, respected, but when it comes to being a father, he's failing badly. His young daughter, Suwon, barely gets any attention from him. He's always working, always on the phone, always thinking about money. And on her birthday, she asks for only one thing. She wants to visit her mother in Busan. At first, Seok Woo refuses, but after seeing how disappointed she is, he finally agrees. The plan sounds simple. Take the train to Busan. Spend the day with her mother. Come home later. Nothing unusual. Nothing dangerous. Unfortunately, the world has other plans. On the morning of their trip, something strange happens. As Seok Woo drives toward the station, they pass emergency vehicles rushing toward an accident. Nearby, a deer that was hit by a truck suddenly stands back up. Its eyes look wrong. Its body moves unnaturally. Then it stares directly toward the road. The movie only shows this for a few seconds, but it's a warning. Something terrible has already started spreading. Nobody knows it yet, but society is already beginning to collapse. The station is crowded. Businessmen rushing to meetings, students traveling home, families heading on vacation. Everything looks normal, almost. Because hidden among the crowd is a young woman. She's injured, bleeding, terrified, and sprinting toward the train. Just before the doors close, she barely makes it inside. The staff never stop her, the passengers barely notice her, and that mistake is about to cost hundreds of lives. The train departs. Passengers settle into their seats. Some sleep, some chat. Others scroll through their phones. Nobody notices the injured woman collapse inside one of the train cars. At first, she seems sick. Then her body starts convulsing violently. Her bones twist, her veins darken, and suddenly, she attacks. Within seconds, another passenger is bitten. Then another. Then another. The infection spreads like wildfire. Because whatever this disease is, it works incredibly fast. At first, nobody understands what's happening. People think it's a medical emergency, a drug attack, maybe even a terrorist incident. But then the infected start charging through the train, biting, scratching, killing anyone they can reach, and every victim transforms within minutes. The infection spreads so quickly that entire train cars fall in moments. The passengers don't stand a chance. When the chaos reaches their section, Seok Woo finally realizes the danger. And for the first time in the movie, work doesn't matter. Money doesn't matter. Nothing matters except protecting his daughter. He grabs Suwon and runs, because standing still means death. As panic spreads, several key survivors emerge. A powerful working-class man named Sang-hwa, his pregnant wife, Song-kyung, a high school baseball team, a group of elderly sisters, and a wealthy businessman named Yeon-suk. Remember that name, because this man will become one of the most hated characters in the entire movie. At first, he seems normal, professional, respectable. But when survival becomes difficult, his true personality starts showing. The infected move differently from traditional zombies. They're unbelievably fast, aggressive, relentless. The second they see movement, they attack. Passengers are dragged to the floor. People are bitten before they can react. Entire sections of the train disappear under waves of infected bodies, and every new victim immediately joins the horde, which means the zombies aren't just killing people, they're recruiting them. Seok Woo, Suwon, Sang-hwa, and several others manage to barricade themselves inside safer train cars. For a brief moment, they catch their breath. But safety doesn't last long, because information begins spreading through phones and news reports. The outbreak isn't limited to the train. It's happening everywhere. Cities are falling, roads are blocked, Emergency services are overwhelmed. The entire country is descending into chaos. And suddenly, Busan becomes their only hope. Because according to reports, it's one of the last places still holding out against the infection. The government keeps insisting everything is under control, but the footage says otherwise. Riots, explosions, military deployments, mass panic. Every update makes the situation look worse. And deep down, everyone on the train realizes the truth. This isn't a temporary crisis. It's the end of normal life. Eventually, the train reaches Daejeon Station. Passengers are told the military has secured the area. Finally, some good news, or so they think. The survivors quickly leave the train and follow soldiers toward safety. But something feels wrong. The station is too quiet, too empty, too still. Then they see it. The soldiers are already infected. Within seconds, the station erupts into chaos. People scatter in every direction. The military collapses. And the survivors barely escape back onto the train. The one place they were trying to leave has suddenly become their only shelter. As the train races away from Daejeon, the survivors finally understand the scale of the disaster. The outbreak isn't local, it's nationwide. There may be nowhere left to run, and the zombies are getting closer every minute. Meanwhile, trapped several train cars away, more survivors are desperately trying to reach safety, including Sang-hwa's wife and members of the baseball team. To save them, Seok-woo and the others will have to do something almost impossible. Fight their way through multiple train cars packed with infected monsters. And honestly, this is where the movie goes from great to absolutely insane. Several survivors are trapped in a different train car. Between them and safety, hundreds of infected passengers, fast, violent, and getting hungrier every second. Most people would give up. Sang-hwa doesn't, because his pregnant wife is trapped on the other side, and he's willing to fight through hell to reach her. So Seok-woo, Sang-hwa, and a high school baseball player named Yong-guk form an unlikely rescue team. Honestly, the odds are ridiculous. 3 people against an entire train full of zombies. But they don't have a choice, because every minute they wait, more people die. The men prepare for war. They wrap magazines around their arms as makeshift armor, tape their sleeves, cover exposed skin. It's simple, but effective, because one bite means game over. And then, they open the door. Chaos explodes instantly. The infected charge like wild animals, screaming, clawing, crashing into each other. But Sang-hwa is an absolute beast. He punches zombies so hard they fly backward, throws them into seats, blocks entire groups by himself. Meanwhile, Seok-woo begins changing. The selfish businessman from the beginning is disappearing. Every fight, every risk, every sacrifice. He's slowly becoming the father his daughter deserves. Then they discover something important. When the train enters tunnels, the zombies become nearly blind. Suddenly, the survivors have a chance. They move carefully through the darkness, avoiding attacks, sneaking past entire groups. For the first time since the outbreak began, strategy matters more than strength. After an exhausting battle, they finally reach the trapped survivors, including Sang-hwa's wife. Mission accomplished, or so they think, because another danger is waiting. And unlike the zombies, this one is completely human. Remember Yeon-suk, the wealthy businessman? Well, now his true colors finally emerge. He's terrified, selfish, and willing to sacrifice anyone to save himself. When the rescue team returns with survivors, Yeon-suk convinces everyone inside the safe train car that they might be infected. And because fear spreads faster than any virus, the passengers believe him. The survivors pound on the door, begging to be let inside. But the people inside refuse. They'd rather abandon innocent people than risk helping them. And honestly, it's one of the most frustrating scenes in the movie, because the zombies aren't winning. Fear is, eventually the door opens. But instead of welcoming the survivors, the passengers force them into a separate section, treating them like animals, like they're contaminated. even after everything they've survived. And little Suan notices something important. The adults are acting worse than the monsters. The movie constantly reminds us of one thing. The zombies may be the threat, but selfishness is the real enemy. And nobody represents that better than Yeon-suk, because every decision he makes from now on gets more people killed. Then disaster strikes again. An infected passenger sneaks into the train. Within seconds, chaos erupts. The infection spreads through multiple cars. People scream, doors break, passengers stampede over each other trying to escape. Everything falls apart. Again. During the attack, Sang-hwa becomes separated from the group, and this scene is heartbreaking. Knowing he can't outrun the zombies forever, he decides to stay behind, alone. He holds back an entire swarm with nothing but his bare hands, buying precious seconds for everyone else, his wife, his friends, his future child. Every second he fights means another second they survive. Eventually, he's overwhelmed. And just like that, one of the movie's best characters is gone. His death hits hard, especially because Sang-hwa was one of the few genuinely good people left. He never cared about status, money, power. He simply protected others whenever he could. And now, the train feels much emptier without him. As the journey continues, more survivors fall. The elderly sisters become separated. One of them dies. The surviving sister looks around and realizes something devastating. Most of the people still alive don't deserve to be. They're selfish, cowardly, cruel. So she makes a shocking decision. She opens a door, allowing zombies into the compartment. Within moments, the selfish passengers are overwhelmed, including many who abandoned others earlier. Outside, the country is completely collapsing. Fires burn everywhere. Helicopters crash, roads are abandoned, civilization itself is disappearing, and Busan remains their final hope. The last destination, the last chance, the last dream. But Yeon-suk isn't finished causing damage. At every opportunity, he sacrifices someone else to save himself. He locks people outside train cars, pushes survivors into danger, lies constantly, and because of his actions, more innocent people die. Eventually, even the remaining survivors begin realizing the truth. This man is a monster, not because he's infected, because he's human. Finally, only a handful of people remain alive. Seok-woo, Soo-an, the pregnant Seong-kyung, and Yeon-suk. That's it. Everyone else is gone. The train itself is falling apart, and Busan is finally within reach. Then Yeon-suk gets bitten. Instead of accepting responsibility, he blames everyone else. Even as the infection spreads through his body, even as he transforms, his final moments are filled with selfishness, fear, and regret. Then he attacks. During the struggle, Seok-woo gets bitten, and immediately he understands what that means. There is no cure, no escape, no second chance. He's infected. For the first time in the movie, he isn't thinking about himself. He's thinking about Suan, his daughter, the little girl he almost ignored, the little girl who never stopped loving him. As the infection slowly takes over, Seok-woo teaches Seong-kyung how to stop the train, how to protect Suan, how to survive. And then he shares one final goodbye with his daughter. The scene is absolutely devastating, because now he's become the father she always needed, right before losing the chance to be one. Memories flash through his mind. Suan as a child, happy moments, missed opportunities, everything he wishes he could do differently. Then, before the infection fully takes control, Seok-woo steps off the train, falling into the darkness below, sacrificing himself so his daughter can live. Long silence. And honestly, it's one of the most emotional endings in any zombie movie. Now only Suan and Seong-kyung remain, a child and a pregnant woman, the least likely survivors imaginable. They slowly walk through a military tunnel leading into Busan. Unknown to them, soldiers are watching from a distance, and when they spot movement, they prepare to fire. Because everyone outside the safe zone is assumed infected, The soldiers aim their weapons, ready to shoot. Then suddenly, they hear singing. It's Suan, the same song she practiced earlier in the movie. The song she wanted her father to hear. The song he was too busy to listen to. And now, that song saves her life. The soldiers realize they're looking at survivors, not monsters, and finally lower their guns. As Suan and Seong-kyung walk towards safety, the movie ends. But its message remains. The outbreak destroyed cities, killed thousands, and turned people into monsters. Yet the most dangerous people weren't always the infected. Sometimes, they were the ones sitting right beside you. And that's Train to Busan, one of the greatest zombie survival movies ever made.